So for example number 5, it says use technology to graph g of x, which is equal to negative the absolute value of x plus 5 minus 3. And then they give us the graph. This is what it should look like when we're done. But what I want you to jot down in your notes is this. Let's say f of x is equal to a. This is an absolute value bracket, x minus h, absolute value bracket, plus k. That's the k. Everybody keeps saying, is that LE? What is it? That's how Mr. Adams writes his k's. So a, remember that a does the vertical stretch or shrink. Of the parent function. So it's a stretch or a shrink. So when I put that number a in front right here, it's either going to stretch it, shrink it, or also it can flip it if it's negative. Okay? H. H does the horizontal translation, and I'll just say shift. The formal math word is translation. K does the vertical translation. Maybe we'll spell out the word translation because I got a little more space here. So when I look at this, for g of x, a is equal to negative 1, isn't it? H is tricky because h is equal to what? You're half right. The formula has a minus sign, so technically when you see x plus 5, you've got to think to yourself, well, it should be minus 5, right? So h is technically negative 5. And then k is equal to negative 3. So because this is negative, it's going to flip it. A flips it. H moves it 5 units to the left. And k moves it 3 units down. That's what those numbers do. So if I flip this over and move it, I'll end up with that spread graph of g. So I'm going to show you this real quick. Does everybody have this written down, what I have written down on the screen? I'll give you a second to make sure you have that written down. And I'm going to jump in Desmos, and we're going to do this transformation right before your very eyes. Nothing up my sleeve. I could tell you're excited about it. So let's do this. So if I say this is how you graph this in Desmos, this is just a regular absolute value function, ABS in Desmos. There it is. Okay. And to make it look like our actual example, I got to remember how to change the thing on this. Do I do that? No. There's a way to change the color. I can't remember how to do it. Yeah, there we go. All right, so now for this next one, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to say y equals ABS and put x. And I guess I'll change that color to red. Okay. So now the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put that minus 1 in the front. So if I say minus 1, what does it do to the graph? It just flipped it upside down, right? So that's all it did, is it flipped it upside down. So now inside the parentheses, my formula is minus, and I'm going to see if Desmos will do this. Yeah, minus 5, right? Which is the same as adding 5. That moved it 5 units to the left. Right? It was here, now it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then if I go on the outside and I subtract 3, it moves it down 3 units. Okay? And that's all we did. So whenever we go to change, when we transform is really the correct word we should be using. When we go to transform a function, that's how we do it. Okay? And as you can see, I'll put our little graph in here real tiny, right? That's what we got on our technology. Okay? Any questions on that?